All right, so problem number 15, we've got y is equal to cosecant inverse of x squared plus 1. Okay. Now the problem is that we didn't necessarily, the way the textbook taught it, we haven't done the flashcards yet, and I'll do that in a second. But we said in order to find the derivative of cosecant, we need to rewrite that. So we could also think of that as y is equal to, here is the cofunction identity, of pi over 2 minus secant inverse of the stuff. Right? So now when I go to take y prime of this, what happens to pi over 2? What's the derivative of pi over 2? 0. And then the derivative of secant. Right? So what is the derivative? And then we have the negative sign that goes to the front too. So we've got a negative sign. So I need to figure out what the derivative of secant is. Well, now the derivative of secant was 1 over the stuff, the square root of the stuff times, or I'm sorry, the absolute value of the stuff over the square root of the stuff squared minus 1 times the derivative of the stuff. So the stuff is u. So we're going to have to use some u substitution. So if we use u substitution, we're going to say that u is equal to x squared plus 1, and then we're going to say that u prime is equal to 2x. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about that up to this point? No. No. All right. So then we've got y prime will be equal to 1 over the absolute value of x squared plus 1 times the square root of x squared plus 1 minus 1 times the quantity, that's squared, times the quantity 2x. And this is a little bit different than the solution that we had in the solution manual. They skipped a bunch of steps and I didn't like it, so we'll try it a little different, okay? It'll work out to be the same when we're done. So now, what do? Well, to clean this up a little bit, I'm going to FOIL out this. So what I have x squared plus 1 times the quantity x squared plus 1. So I've got x to the 4th, x squared, and then 1. All right? So then in the next line, I have 2x on the top, (2x) all over the absolute value of x squared plus 1, and then I have x to the 4th plus 2x squared plus 1, and then I have this minus 1 tacked on the back end, right?
Yeah.
This comes from here. Are you guys with me so far?
But doesn't that cancel out right away?
Yeah, it does cancel out. Okay. So now when I cancel all this out, I've got y prime is equal to 2x all over. Now the absolute value of this is the positive version of this, which is just x squared plus 1 times the quantity x squared times x squared plus 2, isn't it? Because these cancel.
Yeah.
And I skipped a couple steps. But do you guys see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
All right. So now I could rewrite this as 2x all over x squared plus 1 square root of x squared square root of x squared plus 2. Well, what's the square root of x squared? x. So this x cancels with this x up here on the top. Okay? So then y prime is equal to 2 over x squared plus 1, right, times the square root of x squared plus 2. And guess what? That's the answer in the back of the book. Now, if you were looking at the solution manual, I'm not quite sure if, and this happens once in a while, sometimes in the solution manual, when the people that write the solution manuals are like undergraduate students, or graduate students in some cases, and I didn't like the way that they wrote it. They took the other identity, and the other identity just didn't work out. It was really confusing, and I felt this was a better way to go. Okay? So this works out. That's the answer in the back of the book. Does anybody have any questions?